Moving on to Copenhagen this time. Lighting consultant Jens Nelleberg of Copenhagen Municipality of Denmark will tell us about the Copenhagen street lighting change and status. So, Jens Nelleberg, are we connected?
I think we are.
Okay, so take it away.
Have the sound? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. I will share my screen so you can hear. One moment. Here we are. Can you see it?
We see it fine.
Thank you very much. So, as I was presented, my name is Jens Nelleberg. I work for the city of Copenhagen, and it's honored to be allowed to tell you about the development in Copenhagen. And this will be a very practical tournament to the events we have seen in Copenhagen. Please forgive my English. It's not my mother tongue. For the next half hour, I would like to take you through what and where is the Copenhagen and the rules we are subject to work on, the lighting norms and so on. And then we'll look into the energy consumption as Copenhagen has regarding to light, and then a point of what challenge we have exceeded with this new technology we have invited in our city. And at the end, I will talk about some of the ideas we have for further development in the future. We have a development from an old street lighting system to a new efficient system, but there's still a large potential to optimize. So, the framework we are working under. I will introduce you. In Europe, we have this small country called Denmark. See the red area, and this is in the Nordic region. So we have a large variation over the days on the length of the day by 10 hours. So in the summertime, we nearly don't use any light in the nighttime, and in the wintertime, we turn on the light very early in the afternoon. And Denmark, we are the city of Copenhagen is the capital of Denmark. And now you have to look at this little bit of red dot over here. This is, we have the largest population density in Denmark. And that's just a population of 640,000 people in 90 square kilometers. The region of Greater Copenhagen reach about 2 million people. So if we zoom in a little bit further, this is the city of Copenhagen. We have nearly 50,000 light fixtures, and we have these white areas. This is actually another municipality of Frederiksberg, and here you are in this area. So we are surrounding it with our system and our way of thinking of light. The other white areas where all the dots are the lights of Copenhagen, And in these areas, like here and out here, is former industrial and port areas where we have a large urban development at this point. And up here, we have a small dotted area. It is a planned land extension project where we want to build up and have a ground area. So, what is the rule we are working by? What matter the most to the everyday work is the lighting norms set by the Danish Road Directorate. And then we have, because we are in the city, we have a lot of other rules. But we have a small problem because some of the rules, they was made back in the 1970s during energy crisis. So they have a generally very low level of light, and there are many newcomers and tourists in Copenhagen who wonder how dark it is in the capital like Copenhagen. The light is actually protected, and there's a great desire to not overlight things, and we would like to minimize the light pollution of the night sky. In Copenhagen, there are many buildings that are under rules from the ministry, so it's not possible to just put on lights on the sites without a lot of applications. So, as Copenhagen is a port, a functional port, we must apply also to maritime rules. And then we have the municipality's own adapted lighting plans, supported by the chief city architect. So this nice Photoshop photo is not an option. It was a really nice idea to make special light on this bridge, but there's too many rules and we have to move on to some other project. Another project is this latest bridge in the city. At this point, it's open to pedestrians and cyclists, and it's succeeded because it's located in a part of the harbor where there's no commercial operation. So it was possible to light it up and make this nice area. To zoom in to our energy savings, I will run you through what the start was for the Copenhagen, some of the results, our status, and what we'll do in the future. So, back in the early 2000, there was starting up a COP of climate, and back in 2009, the COP15 was in Copenhagen. So we would like to go forward with a nice example. So running up to the COP15, we adopted our own Copenhagen Climate Plan to reduce the outlet of carbon. And then in 2012, we'll make it even more precise with a new climate plan with the goal of being without any carbon neutral by the year of 2025. So this is the plan. I'm sorry, it's in Danish. It's CO2 reduction from traffic. We are looking into the energy consumption, the energy production, the mobility of the city streets and the roads and why all the cars and so on. And then we are looking into Copenhagen city, the municipality as a workspace. So we have to make our own energy reductions. What have we done so far? We have been making a conversion of 5,000 parking spaces, making them into green areas and open for the public. We are trying to every time we are building anything in Copenhagen, we have a demand for fossil and emission-free working machines, and the large cruise ships landing in Copenhagen. They actually get electric supply from the Copenhagen because we don't want them to use their engine to produce energy for the ship and thereby pollute the area. And then we'll look having increased recycling of private and commercial waste. At this point, we are looking into a project finding 750 spaces for gathering the waste. So there's a much more projects on the way. Streetlight is mentioned, but right now it's not prioritized. There are other projects that provide greater savings, so they are the ones looking into. And the energy we consumed on our light comes from wind turbines, so by definition, it's carbon free. At this point, we have a reduction. So we are out here in the end, and if we don't do anything more, we'll be on this line. So the politicians have to take a next step to make a supply of the original roadmap to make sure we'll get to the target in 2025. So we have to continue implementation of the roadmap and add a lot of extra projects to get the goal. For the lighting, we had a really large replacement of light in Copenhagen. It started back in November 2014. We have replaced 6,800 light poles. We have reduced the old points of power supply from 1,140 to 930. We have replaced our lines in the air with cables, 85 kilometers, and way over 300 kilometers of roads and path is giving new light. And in all this, the administration is saving almost 2 million euros annually on the energy consumption compared to 2013. We have a French company, Cityloom, operating in the Copenhagen, and we have a maintenance plan until 2025 with them. The overall reduction of the energy was 70% for the units we have been switched at this point. But we are still missing out 16,000 light points. So we still have to look into using LED a lot more. The new street lighting consists of 12 different types of luminaires defined by our lighting plan, which is suitable for the different types of roads, squares, paths, and etc. It's in a lot of different areas we are working with light. So we have to maintain and have a lot of possibilities to make a good light for the citizens. We use the color temperature from the white LEDs in the area as low as 2,700 Kelvin. It's for the parks, especially the parks and open spaces with animals. In this case, it's bats. And then we have the normal temperature is at 3,000 for the suburbs and pedestrian zones. And on the streets, on the major roads, we'll use 3,500 or 4,000 Kelvin. I know it's possible to get a higher, if you're using a higher color temperature, we will provide a less energy consumption. But we have been trying to have as nice light as possible in the Nordic region, so we are using these very low Kelvin to get some nice light for these areas we have in mind. We have a system called Muse, and we have all the light fixtures in there, so we can controlling the switch off and switch off time, and we can by the night dim the light. At this point, it is Cityloom who's making all the choices. We just tell them what to do. But in the future, it would be very nice to make the light and the dimming plans ourselves, so we could be more precise for the people who wants us to see the light in the areas. And then we could make light in the parks if it's needed or not. We have some challenges with this new technology. We have chosen to continue with the old system where the power is turned off during the day, and that means that all the light fixtures is monitoring. Sorry, one more time. We have an old system that we have turned off the power during the day. So when we turn on the light at night, we have a system of a mesh network. So when we turn on the light, all the light points are calling in and saying, I'm here and I'm functioning. This gives a lot of traffic. And then when there's a lot of traffic on the mesh network, it's not possible for us to get communication and control messages through. So we have this idea that we just have 3 light sensors spread all over the area in the city of Copenhagen. And these 3 points should turn on the light for all the city. But during this turn on point where all the light is calling back and telling about I'm here, it's actually seemed to be a little bit difficult to do it the alternative way. So some of them is still the old way, with just turn on and off at special times instead of the light level. The system is currently too sensitive to give messages on each luminaire. The plan is the luminaire is telling us it's itself if it's broken. But at this time, unfortunately, this is not working. So we have used this electronic from the start of our way to reduce the power, and we would like to have the ITRON network turned into all our light, so we can control it from the office. So at this point, we're not tied to a single luminaire supplier, but we are tied into supplier of electronics for the control system. And thereby, we have a system we have to maintain and only one supplier, but we can use it in a lot of different light fixtures from a lot of different suppliers. And the suppliers, it's very important to have good suppliers who take responsibility if there is a problem with the new lighting units. So it's possible to replace defect units, and actually they have to be there for you and deliver if you have some problems. That's sometimes a challenge. And our experience, I can tell you, one of the product is completely taken out because the fabrication was sold from one supplier to a new supplier and then could not deliver the same standard on the products. So we have an area in Copenhagen where we have a lot of problems with our light fixtures, but at this place we just use new and other light fixtures. So for the future plans, we think in 2022 we will replace another 3,000 street lamps to LED. We wanted to take advantage of the cooperations with the traffic signals in the way that the traffic signals has a radar, so they can monitor the traffic. We would like to have a function that if the traffic lights are seeing a lot of traffic, we will not dim the light, but make sure we have a lot of light. One case could be when the stadium, the football stadium, lets out 50,000 people at once. We would like to light up the area where they are going and which way they find the stations, the suburbs, and how to get away from the stadium. We like to expand our mesh network for more than lighting. It could be communication to some of the new substations for gathering waste and something like that. And in the future, we'll allow Saga blocks. What do I mean by that? It's a Saga block is a block system that we can be placed on the luminaire, so you avoid having to make changes in the luminaire. But you can put the communication equipment and measuring of light or measuring of if there's any people in the area on the blocks. Earlier, we would avoid this because we wouldn't ruin the design of the light luminaire. So this was a speed talk of some of the ideas and what we have been doing in Copenhagen. So I will be open for questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nelleberg. So as you just heard from Mr. Nelleberg, it is time for you to ask any questions or give any comments that you might have about his lecture. So as we gather your questions or comments, I have one question for you, Mr. Nelleberg.
Thank you.
Denmark is known as a leading country in offshore wind power. We'd like to hear how the country overcame the intermittency of wind power to meet its electricity needs and save energy.
We had a big Danish company called Ørsted, and they was having this idea with wind power. And then there was a political great desire.
Mr. Nelleberg, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but could you please stop sharing your screen so we could see your face a little bit?
Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you. There you go.
Okay. I was talking about the power from the windmills. At this point, I think the power in Denmark is reaching 70% produced on the windmills. So it was possible because we have some project where we are building in the sea, windmills in the sea. So if there's any more questions in this area, I will try to answer as good as I can.
Okay, thank you very much. So do we have any questions from our participants? While we're waiting, I'd like to call Mr. Mark Burton Page. Are you there with us?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have any questions or comments regarding Mr. Nelleberg's lecture or, the urban lighting in Denmark?
Yeah, I think it was very interesting. Thank you very much, Jens. Also to hear from Copenhagen and also some return on some of the questions and some of the experiences that you have. And it's really interesting because Copenhagen has started with LEDs very long time ago and has started also trying to curb the energy use a long time ago. So I think it's very important for all the cities in the world to hear your comments and to learn also from you. I think it's also important to say that you were talking about the streetlights specifically. And I know that, perhaps there are some other lighting sources in Copenhagen, but specifically for the streetlights, it's very important with what you were saying. So thank you very much for this this talk, Jens.
Of course, in Copenhagen, we have all the same issues that Mark mentioned earlier with private lighting and lighting in and out of buildings, especially. So this presentation was street lighting. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Mr. Nelleberg, there is a question from our participants. If it would be possible for you to share your lecture material with our participants? Not really? Okay.
I can share this. I can share the screen.
If possible, yeah. We will try to contact you later. Okay. So I think it is a good idea for us to take a breather at this point of time to kind of stretch and, drink some fresh water and be ready for lecture 3 and 4, okay? So we will take a break and we'll meet again at 5:20 p.m. Korea time, 5:20. So I'll see you later.